Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod today with Mark S. Lewis. He is CEO at Evolve Media AI. He also is the president. He is also the president of Communique LLC. And he also started a business back in these days with the same name. So I'm gonna interrogate Mark about his past and also talk about his present. He's the author of Give a Damn. He also moderates CEO roundtables, so that will be a fun topic to talk about today. This podcast brought to you by podpire.com. If you want to start, scale, or be invited to a podcast like this one, podcasts are great to get great conversations, get insights, get leads, and even clients out of them. So podpire.com for that. Mark, welcome to the pod. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and Evolve?
Yeah, I don't really like talking about myself, but I'll just real briefly. I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I went to Boston College, got my MBA at Tulane, and then I worked for IBM for 13 years. Always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I cut grass, I sold Christmas cards, I was a newspaper boy, and that just was in my blood. And my dad was the same way. So I left IBM after 13 years, started an internet company with a couple of people. We sold that 3 years later, started another business, merged that with two other businesses, sold that. And then I wanted to get back into helping the community. So I became president of the Louisiana Technology Council because technology in Louisiana was at the bottom of the barrel. And there was nowhere else but to go up. So we helped turn that situation around and then got the itch back going to be another entrepreneur. And I left and did consulting, and then I wrote a book. So my blood has very red entrepreneurial blood in it, and that's when I started and help. I was brought in actually to help with Evolve Media, which is a video platform, and we're very excited about that.
Right. So tell us about Evolve. What does it do specifically, and the reason why you decided to start that company, and also how's it going right now? How's it doing for you?
Yeah. So I was brought in because of my background in technology. This guy came to me with this idea, and I said, I love this idea. And basically, Evolved Media is a video platform. If you think about Apple Memories and Facebook and Google, Evolved Media is those on steroids. And basically, what we've done is we've created a platform. Like when you go to a wedding or you go to a birthday party, it doesn't matter. There's millions of events that go on practically every day. We have created a platform where people, when they take a video or a picture, they can upload that video and a picture into a folder in the cloud, multiple people doing it. And then what we do is we cut and splice the best of those videos, create a single one for you automatically, and it's all done in minutes based on the choices you make, which is something that's not being done in today's marketplace.
I love the idea. Why? I do ultra events and Ironmans, right? And they have this company called Finisher Picks. And Finisher Picks, I kind of like the model of it, and some parts I don't like. What they do, they hire professional photographers to take photos of the events, and that's somewhat cool. But if I would be CEO of Finisher Picks, I would definitely try to limit my budget there. I'd have hardware to auto take pictures of people. That is, once I'd use robots to take these pics, but I would also use your platform to ask everyone and all the spectators, right? Thousands and thousands of photos being taken, upload them in the cloud. And yeah, if we use your picture, either we give you some clout, which is like, thank you, Amy, for uploading that picture, or even pay Amy 25 cents per good picture that we've taken from her. 25 cents, not generous, by the way. Or some other models like that. So it's pretty cool. I love the idea because it's just taking advantage of everyone taking some pictures, taking the highest quality ones because some people have crappy cameras. Sure. People have different angles and so forth. It's just taking all of these cell phones and taking the best out of it. So I really like the idea.
Yeah, what's unique about ours, Charles, is that we have that platform where we're using artificial intelligence. So you would tell the AI algorithm, say, give me all the pictures with XYZ in it, or the number 22, or somebody's kicking a football, whatever that may be, or laughing, or carrying a Coca-Cola, whatever. So the AI will go out and take those pictures and give you a recommendation and say, well, I don't like that picture. replace it with another one. The AI will go out and get it and replace it until you like it. And then you get a finished product, then you download it, and then it's yours. And it's all done automatically. It's really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's pretty good idea. Now, like, who do you target? How much customers do you have, and how much do you sell the solution for?
So we're in a startup phase. We've already raised $500,000 to get our minimal viable product done. We did it on a web-based app, but now we're converting it to a native app. We're in another fundraising mode of 1.7 million to take the market, take and stand up our organization, and to implement all the features that we think we need before we go to market. So we could probably go to market with our MVP within the next probably 30 to 60 days. But to really fully scale up, we need that team to be able to enhance the product and have the AI through machine learning develop more algorithms that we already have patented. Now, that's a key point for us. Is we have a patent technology over Apple or anybody else, and we could actually take it today. But think about this, Charles. When you go through this whole process, you're only paying $9 a month to download and do what you need to do. So every project you have, you could have multiple ones, and you pay $9 a month for that opportunity. And it's a lot of time to be able to audit, to edit and edit videos and combine them into a single one until you really like what you have. And again, we do it automatically.
Right. Really love that. And yeah, apparently it's not your first stint. So you developed an internet business that generated 4 million in 3 years, which is pretty impressive. So it's 3.3 million per year. That's sort of good. And I'm pretty sure that it's scaled. You also run some CEO masterminds. How did you become a great facilitator / moderator when there's a lot of egos in the room, where there's CEOs that do not know really how to express themselves, or sometimes don't really know how to add value to others? How do you make sure to make them feel comfortable and get them some insights and have them generate insights for other CEOs in the room?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for about 10 years. It was a project that we presented to the state of Louisiana that we say we need, and based on my knowledge, there's a lot of CEOs that are young, they need this help, and they're energetic and they're looking for help. So we put together a program that the state bought off on it, and I've been moderating it for now for 10 years. And for every dollar that was invested in it, the state has gotten at a $9 return. The whole process is based on, or actually really based on my book, Give a Damn, The Ticket to Cultural Change. And it's all based on people, and the people, and having the right people in the right slots, have the knowledge, and let the CEO let those people do their work. There's so much that goes into it. You got to have the processes and the strategies and the goals and the mission, all that together. If you implement that phase, and I've created a CEO playbook for CEOs to implement. If you implement what's in there, you're going to accelerate your growth. You're going to have great profits. You're going to have great company culture. Everything wins and everybody wins. And because I've been doing it for so long, now people can see the traction and how good it's been to help with their company. And it's just kind of flowing and naturally coming out. And I'm excited about it because I get a real charge out of helping people, because I give a damn, basically helping people succeed. And that's my greatest reward, when I can take what I've learned and what other people have provided to them to learn to help them succeed. That's where I get my greatest joy in life, actually.
It usually starts with pairing the right people with the right people, and that is somewhat rocket science to me. How do you make sure to assemble the right fit with the right fit in one room?
So I'm all about culture. And I have a saying: you hire for culture and you train for skill. People, when they apply, know they have this background and they know a particular subject, but it's the cultural fit that's really, really important. And I make it a really big emphasis. Some people have a poor culture. I say, well, you got to get rid of your C players, because the best way to get rid of A players is to tolerate C players. And CEOs have a very hard time getting rid of C players. So I have developed this actually special interview technique that nobody can prepare for, and it's worked wildly successful. It's the unthinkable approach to hiring. And I do it based on prompts. And you're going to know within 10 minutes if someone's going to fit into a culture. But the culture includes making sure you have the right people in the right seats, making sure you let those people in the right seats do their job, and they're going to fail, and you help them along the way, but you give them credit, and then you take all the blame if something fails. So that's kind of my philosophy in a successful being a successful CEO. Look, I've done it 2 or 3 times and know it works too.
So values with values. What about like in my case, I have a mastermind called Level 96. It's free. We generate content out of it. So we record parts, and yeah, if the CEOs agree, we post these YouTube shorts for them. It's a new concept. It's free. And basically I reunite folks of the same niches, which is also somewhat controversial because who wants to be in the same room of their competitors? Smart people. It happens because they know that if they mastermind with them, they leave other competitors in the back, sort of. So what do you think about the concept and of that mastermind generating content? And what do you think about the controversial concept of reuniting people of the same niche?
Well, when you reunite people with the same niche, I think it's important because typically the people are not competing with them in the same region, right? So you can share information, what's made you successful in your particular region versus, and most people aren't going to compete in that. But I used to compete with when I started an internet business back in 1994. I used to compete with other providers, and I wanted to get with them just because there's enough business to go around for everybody. And there are a lot of smart people that just don't really know how to run a business. And there's a lot of people that just run by the seat of their pants. And if you can show how good you are with people, how strategies and processes put in place, you're going to knock those people out, because people sometimes succeed despite themselves, but eventually it's going to catch up with you unless you put the right strategies and processes and procedures and culture in place to be successful. And I think learning from other people in the same niche can make you successful because there's enough business to go around for everybody.
Right. Your book, why did you started it? Why the title? And what are the insights in that book?
So if you told me, Charles, I was going to write a book 10 years ago, I would have said, you're absolutely crazy. I don't like to write. I'm not a writer. I'm a business guy. I never liked English to begin with when I was in school. But I viewed in my dealings with other entrepreneurs, seeing what they did, but also seeing what was going on in today's society disturbed me. So I decided I was going to dictate what I saw and then eventually put something together in a book. And it took me 5 years to do it. I had like mounds and mounds of text, of data that I had to put it all together. But I did it because I think our society has become very self-centered. And because of that, people try to take advantage of other people. And that's not how life works. We are born today, in my opinion, we are here today to help other people. And by helping other people, we help ourselves. But people think they have this what's in it for me attitude. That's not how it works. So I saw all the 9 factors that were going on in today's environment that has caused us to be more self-centered. There's government, there's technology being a huge part because we don't communicate as well as we did 20, 30 years ago. There's wealth, there's education, there's religion, there's 9 of them. And we have to turn ourselves around to be more self-serving than selfish. And I wanted to see what I could do to change it. And I thought the title, Give a Damn, the Ticket to Cultural Change, would get people's attention.
It does. And why should I give a damn?
Well, because your life will improve dramatically. There's a lot of studies out there that show that if you do things for other people, you make yourself feel good. Internally, you feel good, but also makes the other person feel good, and everybody wins. And it shows, there's studies that says if you volunteer when you get older, there's a certain sense of satisfaction. The greatest disease in today's society, Charles, you know what it is? Stress. And how do we relieve stress? By making ourselves feel good internally. How do you do that? By helping others. There's a certain sense of, I get it, there's a certain sense of satisfaction when you help other people succeed. And it makes me feel really good about that. And there's other thing, religion has become more taboo. And I'm a religious guy. But there's a study by Ohio State University that said the more religious you are, you actually live 4 years longer. Why is that the case? Because we have something that we can grab onto that can help us relieve stress and take some things that are going on in our life, and that we can, have something we can grab onto. I think God or religion is a way to do that, or a mentor would be a real way to do that. But there's a lot of factors that can make you happy. That's why I wrote the book. That's why we should give a damn. You're going to live longer.
Right. Oh, and higher quality of life, because as humans,
Absolutely.
we tend to create problems out of nothing, and if God, quote unquote, can help you release that useless tension that was there prehistorically to protect yourself, and that was very much not adapted to the current stimuli in this current environment, then so be it. Yeah, instead of the word religious, I'd use like spiritual. Not because I'm woke or anything. Religion like rings to Christianity and Islam and all of that. I think more and more folks nowadays, they're adopting spirituality in some segments even of Islamism or Christianity or
Right.
Buddhism, which is praying, which is meditating. um Sacrifice also is a great one in
Yep.
Christianity, like Jesus carrying the cross. Well, I'm about to carry the cross today. I'm about to go run 30 kilometers and pay my dues, pay my
Good.
dues to this life and empty
Yeah.
the pain tank, like I call it. Ironically, people think I would fill in my pain tank. I empty it when I go run,
You,
this
you make a
internal pain, this frustration.
Yeah. You make a really great point, and I haven't thought about this before, Charles. Spirituality is a much better word than religion, but you're absolutely right. Having something you grab onto, having something that can take, or exercise is a perfect example. And it's just so many studies show that exercise helps you overall in terms of stress and relief of disease and those kind of things. So what we eat is all important. All that stuff comes to play in the factor of living a healthy quality of life. But spirituality and meditation are two components that I use that help me and relax me over time when I ever feel like I'm a little nervous or jittery
Right.
or whatever, something's going on.
Or starting a podcast, matter of fact, and talking with great folks that can understand your reality and relieve some of that pain. Like me, I speak with a lot of CEOs, and sometimes I tell them like, dude, I'm stressed, I have this and that, and they're like, yeah, been there, done that. I know how you feel,
Yep.
and this is what's likely gonna happen. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is 100% right. People that have gone through that marathon and that pain, so that can be pretty helpful.
What's unique, Charles? Are you probably not aware of this, but you probably have helped thousands of people just by that statement alone and what you're doing with your podcast. So you have to be really appreciated for all the things you're doing that you don't even know about, that you're helping all these other people in living a better quality life. So I commend you for that. And I want to thank you for doing that.
Oh, thanks to you. Thanks for showing up today. And I'm somewhat conscious of that. Actually, that was the reason why I started this podcast. It was a year and a half ago, and I felt that my contribution tank was not empty, but it was at like 20%. It was quite low. And I feel that, yeah, with this pod that I've at least like filled it up to 60%, which is passable. And I'm seeking to do more charitable stuff, like for example these runs. I could just make a YouTube live or Facebook live and have people give money to my favorite nonprofit CEO that I interviewed on this podcast. I had various CEO of Arthritis NZ, CEO of Epilepsy NorCal. I
Sure.
had a bunch, and that I feel that could be pretty cool to deploy that pretty soon. And yeah, that was the premise behind the pod. It quickly grew into my learning system. I don't read books nowadays anymore. I don't even listen to podcasts. I just interview people. And it
Right.
also even grew to a capitalist side, because I started my agency, podbuyer.com. And yeah, I'm pretty much shameless about that. I do believe in capitalism, if done right. And yeah, thank you for that, because what's cool also is that I interview folks from around the world. And even when I sleep, someone might open a pod and get like a major insight that might impact their lives. I try to be real also, and I try to provide different types of insights that you don't normally find out there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're right about that. And thought came to me. I do a presentation on my Give a Damn, and I'm trying to change people's lives and do what I can. But I always ask this question: why are you here on earth? Why did God put you here? And if you don't believe in God, why are you here today? And 99 out of 100 people can't answer that question. And you've already answered it. The reason why you are here on earth is because you're here to help other people. And by helping other people, you actually help yourself, and everybody wins, but you can't get it reversed. That's the key. And you've done all the right things, and that's why you're here to be able to make a difference in other people's lives like you're doing now, and to help people grow and to help you. And it's just that everybody wins factors.
Right. No, that's interesting. I believe in a God.
Yep.
At first, it was a spiritual one. Second, it was like an alien, that's watching us. And third, lately, it's been an AGI God, um, a general artificial intelligence that just knows everything, that has cracked space and time, and knows just everything. Anyway, more on that later. For actually, yeah, the purpose. Yeah, I want to help people, but then came to my brain, am I here to alleviate suffering? Because yeah, there's a question, what's the difference between pain and suffering? For example, a guy like me, I've got to learn to love pain, which is odd, some people call it sadomasochism. I don't do any of that BDSM stuff with my wife, but who knows? But like, yeah, I love pain. I think there's a lot of wisdom with pain and your relationship with pain. So then came to my brain. So yeah, sure. I'm there to somewhat alleviate pain. Saving life is like very rewarding as well. So I want to put more of my tokens into medtech and really saving and improving people's life. But also came to my mind finding out about the truth. Then what is the truth? Most truths are not objective; they're subjectives. But if I help finding out truths, I can accelerate science and bring people to the world that they want to do. But a full pleasure world is not beneficial for them,
Right.
And finding truth is really challenging. Most humans are actually, let's call it 80% of humans are actually fighting actively against truth, because
True.
it feels
I
good
agree.
to not know the truth. And truth is scary. So I'm still somewhat unsure about my why.
Well, I think I know. And when you talk about understanding truth, people have a hard time accepting something that would cause a consequence to themselves. And I have this thing: most people today know exactly what's the right thing to do, but they do the wrong thing because they can justify it in their mind as being right. They'll do the right thing when it affects them personally. That's when we give a damn the most, when we affect something that affects us personally. And here's a primary example. I was walking across the street, going to my office, and I kicked this rusty nail. It was in the middle of the street, and most people wouldn't pick it up. But if that rusty nail was in the middle of your driveway, what would you do? Everybody would pick it up, because you can now internalize something that would affect you, and therefore you do something about it. The right thing is to do the right thing, but when people do the wrong thing, they say, "Oh, that's okay. I'll throw a piece of newspaper in the garbage can. It's in the middle of the field. Oh, somebody else will pick it up." But that's not the right thing to do. Would you? It's almost like people throw out trash when they're eating down the highway and you see all this trash in there. But would you throw that trash in the middle of your driveway after you're finishing? I mean, in the middle of your living room after finishing food? No, you wouldn't do it,
Right.
because now you can internalize it. We have to internalize stuff. Every situation asks us, is it the right thing to do? And most people know it is, but they don't do it because they can justify it in their mind. That's a
Right.
problem.
I think that we're gonna invent some kind of system or algorithm that's gonna enable us to calculate the butterfly effect. So yesterday I was walking my dog, right? And there was this aggressive little dog that came nearby us, and I didn't had a good day, and I came this close to kicking it. And if I would have kicked it, I would have punted it like a good 5 meters. I do mixed martial arts, and my low kicks are very powerful. So I'm glad
Oof.
that I missed the dog. But yeah, so then the question is, would he have learned a lesson and never mess with me and or other folks that come in that street again? Or would I have hurt him, brought him to the vet, created anger in this other owner? This other owner would have taken his anger on his wife. His wife would have taken his anger on the cousin, and then the cousin would have taken his anger on me,
Right.
And I think there is such a mother algorithm in which every time you throw your shit onto your neighbor or throw your anger onto someone else, I think it will come out flat out on your face, because we're all interconnected scientifically and metaphysically. Let's call it that way. What do you think about that?
I agree with you 100% because anger perpetuates anger, kindness perpetuates kindness, gratitude perpetuates gratitude, being appreciative. Everybody, I tell people, look, as a CEO, if I run a company, the janitor is just as important as I am. I could take the garbage out just like anybody else. It's not that stuff's below me, but if you're kind and you show respect and you show morals and you show character, that perpetuates itself. But our society's gotten the reverse. It's going the wrong way from that perspective. And you can see it in politics. What can I do to get ahead instead of working together? That's what really bothered me about today's society and why I wanted to give a damn and write the book. I wrote that book and I sent 525 emails to every congressman and senator at the US government. And you know how many responses I got? Zero.
0.1.
None. But they all added me to their email distribution list. And so I get all these mails I didn't even sign up for. And that's the problem. Nobody wanted to come back and say, I think you're doing the right thing. I really need somebody who's a national figure that says, yeah, we're going to give a damn across the entire world. And this is the book that's going to do it. Everybody should have it. Everybody should read it. And then I'll know I've made a difference and I had a legacy in life. But hopefully I'll live long enough to make that happen.
Well, I'll read it. That's for sure. So I
I'll
think
send
I've
you a copy.
already, yeah, thank you for that. I think I've already ordered like a preview on Kindle Parenthesis
appreciate
side.
that.
I'll also need your list of the congressmen, please, because I'll invite them to the pod to
Okay.
give them a chance, because my suspicion is that one, these folks are mostly there for power and clout. Like
Exactly.
I've heard a lot that in LA area, it's not like your net worth, but it's your network. Like, who do you know?
Right.
For example, I suspect it's the same with politicians. Now, this world is never black or white. But the second thing I suspect is they also have a hard job, and it's hard to manage communities, which you didn't start it. That's like, if people can highlight that and come back in the video here, it's hard to manage a community that you did not start it. You did not choose the member, right? You and I,
True.
we choose our members. Well, I think you do. We choose the CEOs, right? We choose who to place with who. You have control over their values and how they're going to interact another. In a community you don't have control of, you have all kinds of people. Generally speaking, they agree with the same, right? The American dream.
Yep.
But yeah, most of them don't believe in that American dream anymore. They've worked at the $15 fucking an hour job and they're completely destroyed. They don't have dreams anymore. They're like, I'm trying to survive. Then you have a neo fucking Nazi that wants to end all other skin colors and is still like in the 90s or the 1800s in his mindset. So you need to deal with all of these weird people. You have criminals that don't give a shit about others that were raped, when they were young. So talking about butterfly effect there. So you need to manage all of that. You need to be great at business, in my opinion. You need to be great at experimenting and crunching the numbers and know statistically if your solutions are impactful. Then you're restrained by an outdated system and an outdated electoral system that is not right. That should be, in my opinion, AI and blockchain based. So bottom line, you have a really hard job and you're most likely not qualified for that job. So anyway, that's my suspicions. I want to talk with these folks on the pod and hear more about
I'll
that.
send you.
Probably
the list is
wrong, by the way.
Yeah, it's a couple years old. I'll get it to you. I'll send it to you. I got all of them. And I compiled that list and downloaded it, and I've got it all. So more than happy. But you know, what you're saying right now is exactly why I wrote the book. I get frustrated. You know, you can't please everybody. It's like a politician. Here's the thing. You know, what's good for 95% of the people, sometimes 5% because they're special interest groups ruin it for all the 95%. And so, you know, when if I was running for office and I won with 50.1% of the vote and 49.9 didn't like me, I still won, right? But I didn't, you know, it's what I'm trying to get at is 90, even if it's 80%, you win by a landslide. But if I can help 80% of the people, then I'm doing a good thing. Even though, you know, when I got elected, I got 50.1, so 49 didn't like me. But if I can please 80%, that's the way to go. You can't please everybody. You can do the darndest job you can to do it, though. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Some people think like a civil war is gonna break. Me, my opinion on that. Well, first I need to gather more facts and data, but I don't think it's gonna be the case. I think, you know, even though society breaks after a certain quantity, let's call it like 300 individuals in one room, um, the laws of scales are weird, right? But I still do think that we've got this collective consciousness that we still don't understand, by the way, but a less like metaphysical to way to understand it is just the internet, right? The forum are quite chaotic out there if you check Twitter and all of that. So yes, it does break the brain at some level, but I do think that the Americans or Canada, matter of fact, Canada is like way less broken, but Americans can agree to some principles, some common values, right, and keep on running the show, sort of. So yeah, I'm still bullish on US. But you know, some
Yeah.
people love to dramatize things, but I don't.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And it really starts at the leadership at the top and the core, the character and the morals and how it
That's
filters
gonna
down.
change though. I think that is totally broken, not only in the
Oh,
US,
no
but
doubt.
like throughout the world. I think
Yeah.
people are, so like just the civil war thing, that's what I was pertaining to, like that's not going to happen. But I do think that the electoral system is going to go through some change. Now there's some actors with some vested interest that will slow the process down, like always, like in anything.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's hard also to come up with a better system, right? Like if we decide to elect someone every 10 years, okay, that person might stay for too long. If that person stays in power for 1 year, then that is too short. Now, like
Sure.
the political party things, a lot of people I spoke to think that the Republican and Democrat is still a good idea, bipartisan if you want. I need to speak to more political folks, I guess.
I'll get them to you. Yeah, I'll get you some names. So hopefully
Thank
they'll
you.
reach back to you and they can be on your podcast. But you
I
and I
have,
think a lot alike. It's a
yeah,
tough environment and it change is very, very difficult. So
yeah.
one of the things my wife and I are doing, actually, we're writing additional books for children. And
Okay,
it's actually
nice.
called Camilla the Cuttlefish Makes a
Uh,
Splash. I don't know if you know what a cuttlefish is.
nope.
It's kind of the squid. It's got 8 tentacles and 2
Okay.
arms. And so we're focusing on trying to provide morals and character
Huh.
about how the codfish can help people and all that kind of stuff. So we want to try to got to start at a very early age. It's hard for us as humans to change the older we get, but we're going to try to start and make an impact on the kids.
I'm seeing some cuttlefish images. Mark, I lost you.
Well, we don't have it out. We're starting it. It's called Camilla the Cuttlefish Makes a Splash.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, your
but
connection went red. Anyway,
yeah, no,
I
there
have
we
a
go.
visual on cuttlefishes. Do these things actually smile, or that's like 3D made up?
I think it's probably, you know, I don't know. My wife's really the driver behind all that. And she's a writer. She's written a couple books herself. And so let's see. See, there you
They
go.
look very cute.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'm
they're
pretty
part of the squid family, and they're very unique creatures. That one right in the middle, right there, is kind of what it looks like. But it's a creature that is not well understood, not many people know about it, and so we're writing book because they have all these tentacles and they can help. shine light. They camouflage very well. Our first book is about how a cuttlefish had all these babies, and all these
Hmm.
babies left their mother, and the one was very deformed, but she still was good. And then she went out on her own and helped all these other sea creatures, and came back and told her mother she was so proud that she had done all that, and she was so proud of her mother was so proud of her. And it's a rhyming book, and so it's pretty cool actually. So we're
Love
we're
it.
we're trying to set that stage at a very early age, from really 3-year old to 8-year old, to maybe help get kids to understand why it's so important to be kind and respectful, and yes sir, thank you, all that kind of stuff.
Love it. Yeah, and empathetic.
Yep.
Because kids can be quite cruel. I'm not sure why the little brain it takes so long to have empathy for the other party. Because yeah, we see these bullying cycles go on. But yeah, we're gonna take that one for another time. I just have one last question for you. Let's say that you're on your deathbed, couple years or decades from now. What, and you're reflecting right on your life, what will you have accomplished that will make you a happy man and someone that can go away at peace? Mark, I think I lost you again. Well, looks like we lost Mark here. In the meanwhile, maybe I can start answering the question myself. What will I want to have accomplished on my deathbed? Making a bunch of people's lives better and inspiring other people to grow more impact trees. Like if we see it as a ripple, I would like to be a ripple that ripples other ripples, basically. So and then all these other bubbles, right? How could I do that? Through my startups, through my kindness. I want to scale kindness, scale the heart, probably diminish cortisol, um because there's always that age old question of like, yeah, if I have learned to tolerate pain on my side, and suffering, do I want the golden rule? Not really, but not having the golden rule could be problematic as well. Do I think that humans should live in pleasure all the time? No, but I think that we need to kind of grow out of capitalism and have a love coin. So like if I added value to you, then I would get richer, and if you do add value on your side, you would also get richer. I do think we would need to align ourselves with adding value out there. That I would certainly love to do. So in my opinion, there's three ways I can be doing that. So longevity, right? Not dying. If I'm great at adding value, well, I want to keep being a source of value to others and really make this world a more flowy place, happier place and so forth. That is one. Two, AGI can also very much help with that. And third, brain computer interfaces. That is on the short term. That is the how and the why. So I don't want to die before like doing these things and really deploying these things onto the world. I also would like to, with that same AGI, calculate, like all this impact and calculate data and find out the truth. Um, and obviously, I'm about to have my children's. I want my wife that added lots of value to me to be constantly happy. Same for my children, same for my doggies, same for my family and my CO community that I'm building right now. We'd eventually build a country out of that, and that would be my deathbed. I'd be ready to go by then. But even then, I'm like this hyperachiever, and I'm creating more as I go. It's not that I'm forever hungry, but I'm forever growing and scaling and shape shifting. I won't be the same Charles in 10, 20, 30 years from now. I'm glad that I'm recording this so people can go back to it and even recreate a version of myself. But I'm not ready to go right now. I'm just getting started. Just getting started. Then I'll have like life adversity in front of me. Who knows, like diseases, horrible things, death, um, injuries, mental and physical ones. So I haven't lived much in this life yet. I haven't hit massive wealth and scale. Both will bring solutions, but also problems. So 29 as I'm recording this, and that will be certainly interesting. Okay, so I understand that my guest is not coming back. Mark is not coming back, but you can find out more about Mark Lewis. So from evolvemedia.ai on LinkedIn. All right. His book is Give a Damn. So if you Google Give a Damn Mark Lewis, what should pop first to you is an Amazon link, pretty much, and Mark's website as well. So Mark is definitely on a mission. So I would order his book, at least a preview of it. And yeah, that would be pretty much it for today. But let me re-accept Mark in. I see that he has just joined in. Let's see if his connection is better. Mark, is your connection better?
Hey, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
I just told the audience about where to find out about you. I need to run on my side, quite literally.
Okay.
Where can people find out more about you, Mark?
Yeah, they can contact me at marklewisllc.com. They can go to my website, giveadamnbook.com as well. But I'm happy to talk to anybody that I can help. My email address is mlewis@marklewisllc.com. Just go to my website. There's a lot of information.
And Mark is down again. So
Did we lose it?
yeah, we've got you, but I guess, okay, just to close this off, Mark, marklewisllc.com, give a damn. The book's on Amazon as well, evolve.ai, and that was Mark Lewis.